Hey everybody, I'm Chris Niosi, creator, writer, animator, and a lot of other stuff that I won't name because it'll take the full 20 minutes of this episode of TOME, Terrain of Magical Expertise, and I'm joined by...
I'm Blake Swift, also known as Shadyvox. I am the voice of Alpha. I am also the sound effects designer and sound engineer for TOME.
Yes, indeed. And he also sings the theme song...
With you, Battle On.
Battle On with me, which was awesome.
It was very fun.
So this is episode 3, the highest form of flattery, and I was really nervous about this episode.
Really?
Yeah, it was tough because the first one was kind of, I mean, it had all of the main characters in it, but there was a big focus on Alpha, and the second episode was kind of more focused on Curb, but this one I wanted to focus on Flamey, and on a little bit of fault on my part was that, unfortunately, I made what I thought were some kind of poor choices with Flamey's character in this episode, and I was really nervous that people were not going to like her character much. And I was worried that people were going to hate the episode as well. But surprisingly, it did pretty well. It did actually even better than episode 2, and people seemed to really dug it.
I like it.
Yeah, and it was fun to work on. I took some time before animating this episode, actually, to go back in and, as you'll see in just a moment here, I went back and I reanimated a bunch of the talking avatars right here, these little animations that come in the front of it. And I decided to make them a bit more actually animated. I shaded them, made them a bit nicer looking, and I think it turned out to be a better move in the long run.
I agree.
Yeah, in this scene we also have 2 new characters, some of my favorites. This is Saturn Diva in the middle, and then Whitey on the far left. Saturn Diva is voiced by Sarah Williams, who people will know from Madoka Magica and Skullgirls, who I met in Burbank like a couple months before this episode was made, and Saturn Diva was kind of blanking on casting for a little while, and she was the perfect fit for it.
Did you ask her why you saw her there, or was it something like you?
No, I was actually staying at her place with Bosco, who plays Doubling in the last episode, and also Mac, who plays Raccoon. He was there, and she was out visiting her family for Thanksgiving, and then she came back, and we got to meet her a bit. And I had never worked with her before. I didn't know her super well, but I was like, oh, she's pretty cool. And I heard a bit of her voiceover work in a workshop that we took with Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy. And then when I came up to recording for this episode, I was like, oh, you know what? Sarah is somebody I should look into getting. And she was really easy to work with. I thought she did a good job with it. And then we have Ayu Sakata, or Athea Yu, depending on who you ask, I think, as the voice of Whitey. Athea is, she's in Texas. She's a game designer. I've done some voice work for her. She gave me my first video game job. And she also has done some voiceover work for Funimation for a few anime series like Fairy Tail, a few other ones I can't remember. Sorry, but yeah, she's cool. She is Asian. She is not Japanese though, like Whitey. She's actually Chinese, but yeah, she's very sweet. She was like perfectly suited for Whitey. She did do kind of a voice, but she didn't really even need to change too much. And she worked.
Suits the character very well.
Yeah.
What's with the cat walking past here, by the way?
Oh, it's just a cat, man. Whatever. Why is there a bird? There's a bird.
I don't know. I just random play. Well, the bird actually holds something to this episode. There's just like character speaking, and then oh hey kitty, and then it's gone. That cat must have ran. Oh, there it is.
There's literally a cat, and there's a bird.
There's a bird.
Flutter. So let's talk a little bit about also I love. Oh, this is one of your favorite characters.
Granda is my absolute favorite character. Kimlin is amazing.
Granda is played by Kimlin Tran, who people will know from Skullgirls. She does a lot of Newgrounds cartoons as well. She is funny as hell, very quirky. Another perfect fit for this character.
And she's in Dust.
Yes, that's right. She's in Dust. Elysian Tale is Fidget. That's right. And this is Andy Dennis, who I got thanks to Devin Mack. He suggested him because I heard Andy doing an audition for Dust, doing this really awesome Scottish accent.
Is Andy actually Scottish?
No, he's actually British.
Wow. Okay, because that's a really good accent.
Yeah, he's fantastic. It was the first time I worked with him. I wanted to work with him for a long time, and he does this series on Newgrounds called Q-Boy. He's a writer, and he does almost all the voices for it, a lot of them anyway. And yeah, he's fantastic. And I feel bad that he didn't even have a whole lot of material in this episode, but he did a really great job, and he's got this fantastic Scottish accent for this character. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the sound effects, because some people have been wondering exactly how we go about it. So the process for the sound in the show is after the script is written, and usually in tandem, I'm in the middle of animating, new characters that would be showing up. I'm giving outlines for different backgrounds and things for the artist to do. And then I start off with recording all the actors, and I use Adobe Audition to cut together each of the scenes. Usually, at least so far from the ones I've done, each episode consists of about 8 scenes, and the full episode it can range anywhere from like 15 to 20, or sometimes 30 minutes, like the next episode, but that's different sometimes. So when I do that, I have a scene which can also range from anywhere from 1.5 to 4 minutes or so. I will animate just that scene. I'll do all of the stuff that you're seeing here right now with the talking avatars and and then the in between, the actual fully animated stuff. And I'll also cut in the music as well, and then I send Shady 2 MP3s and a video. I send him a video of this, like a scene that we're looking at right here, with no sound, and then I'll give him a separate MP3 of all the voices cut together to the right timing, and all the music cut to the right timing. And then
I take over, and usually what happens there is actually kind of interesting, because in the first episode, when I volunteered for sound effects design, because I have a real big passion for editing audio, and I love hearing everything to come together and being in control of that, I wasn't too sure what I was doing, because I've done design for mastering and songs and stuff like that, but I've never done it for an animated show or a skit or anything like that. So this was new to me, and it was exciting. I started with an archive of general sound effects, and over time of the episodes, TOME has sort of got its own folder of sound effects that I constantly come back to, that I guess their own, they're built now for the episode. I don't really go outside of it, because everybody is familiar with the sound effects. Especially for myself, I want to be able to use the same sound effect consistently throughout the show. I mean, it's no good having a different landing sound for, every episode at every instance. It's the same thing. But usually, getting sidetracked there, usually what happens is Kirb sends me the MP3 of the dialogue and the music's all separated. And then I open the video alongside the dialogue and the backing music in Sony Vegas. And using the archive of sound effects, I lay them against the video, tweak them where necessary. Depending on how complicated the scene is, it could take a few minutes, it could take several hours, and then I'll send what I hope is a final version to Kirb, and then he'll say, okay, I need this changed here, can you do this, I need this, and I'm like, yeah, sure, cool, and then I spend another 2 hours revising it, and then it's done. But it is a difficult task to get everything level and make sure nothing's clipping or out of proportion against the video. I mean, you don't want an explosion you can't hear, especially if it's taking up the majority of the screen. It's a fun task. As tedious as it is, I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, it could definitely range in difficulty depending on the scene too, because the scene that we were just doing, or even here at the end with this new little baddie here, the conversational ones, because Shady also does mastering, he'll balance out volume levels and things like that. Generally there aren't a lot of sound effects in the conversational scene, unless it's we cut away to somebody and they're doing a little motion or something, throwing something for that. But it's the big fight scenes like these where a lot more sound effects need to be implemented, and that can take much longer, especially when it's a very detailed, big, fight scene with lots of projectiles flying everywhere and everybody using special attacks and stuff like that. It can take a while, but Shady makes it work.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah. I like Dragon Master of Firefighting.
I always find it interesting to hear whatever he's going to say, especially for me, because I get to pretty much, I suppose I'm like the second one next to you to see the episode in its entirety because I get all the resources before anything gets published. So I always get to hear like Nylocke's takes before anything goes over it, and it's always interesting to hear Nylocke, master of the rolling credits, or Nylocke, master of awkward moments. It's always... Does Martin improvise on that, or do you give him like a brief idea of what to say, or is like does he just follow the script fully?
I always write those out. I mentioned I think in the first episode commentary the very first drawing that I did of that version of Nylocke. I knew immediately that I wanted that to be like his gimmick of jumping up and doing the Nylocke, insert clever moniker here. Oh, okay. So this is kind of cool. Lucian Dodge. I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you've seen the episode already. Raven Freak, our bad guy here. Lucian Dodge voiced him. And the reason that I picked Lucian, I wanted to work with him for a long time. This was the first time that I got to use him in like a bigger project. He's a fantastic actor. He's done lots of stuff on Pokemon, and like he's in Tiger and Bunny right now. He's been doing voiceover for years. He started under like Corey Burton. He's fantastic. One of the reasons I hired him for this character in particular is because I knew he would be able to do this fabulous voice performer, Raven Freak here. But also because I knew that Lucian would be able to match Shady's voice for Alpha, because in not now, but earlier in the scene back at the street corner, where he was calling out to Flamey when she was hanging out with her friends and everything. I actually showed that. I remember this distinctly. When I was working on this episode, I was playing his audio of him across the street going like, "Hey, Flamey, come over here. I gotta talk to you." And Shady was like, "What did you say when you heard that? Because you thought it was you." But I don't remember what you said exactly.
What, upon hearing Lucian's take on me?
Yeah, well, when you heard him doing the recording, or you heard the recording of him like calling out to Flamey.
I said it was, it was scary how kind of close he got to me.
Yeah, you were like, is that? I remember you did confuse it. I don't remember exactly what you said, but you're like, oh wait, did I do that? And I'm like, no. He's like, wait, then who is? I'm like, that's the bad guy. He's matching you. He's like, that's scary.
Yeah, I was really taken back by how close he got. It was insane.
In fact, actually, I guess it's worth mentioning, Shady, because he was doing his impression of Nylocke earlier, Shady was somebody that I considered for the voice of Nylocke, like, way early on, like, before I even considered doing the show, because I wanted to do it as a game for a while, and then I eventually just bunkered down. I wrote a bunch of scripts and decided to do it as a series. But I considered Shady as a possible voice for Nylocke, and I considered Lucian a possible voice for Alpha, which is kind of funny because now I kind of shifted everybody around a little bit. But I think that the choices I ultimately went with were good. Because also with Shady doing the main character, because he could sing, so he did the theme song, and it turned out that he could do the sound effects, which was also very useful. So that big multitasker. So thank you, Shady.
You're very welcome, sweetie. I love you.
We're very gay behind the scenes. You have no idea.
You have no idea.
Also, well, now you have some bit of an idea. Demon King here is voiced by Anthony Sardina, also known as Antfish. He's a fun guy from Toronto. He actually has been doing some professional voiceover recently, although I don't know if I could say on what, because I don't think the shows that he's recorded for are out yet. But he's great.
Say it anyway.
No, I'm not going to get him in trouble. But he's great. He was kind of his sort of like gruff sounding like sort of voice was what I wanted for this incarnation of Demon King, and he just got like just everything Demon King says was funny to me. Like it's just like really pathetic. Like I just want to go back to school, guys, please. Like, it was just so funny. So he was fun to work with and did a really good job on here. I love this fight scene. This is cool. Yeah, this was one of the reasons I was really nervous because
look how flamboyant he is.
His little ballerina moves in midair. Yeah, one of the reasons I was worried about this episode regarding Flamey is because, like, here, I mean, she's standing up for herself. She's not just like, you know, oh no, I've been kidnapped. Oh, help, Alpha, help. But, you know, but I feel like this still wasn't enough because, like, you know, Raven Freak's still being kind of obnoxious about, like, oh, you know, call you a big, strong man. And even though she's being like, what, am I not good enough for you? Alpha comes in just a minute here. And he is the one that takes care of Raven Freak, so I feel almost like it was like mooting the point of Flamey fighting him here. I was just a little worried. I don't know. I didn't know how people were going to react to it, but again, people seemed to like it, and I was okay with that.
I thought it was perceived well. I mean, he wasn't like, you know, it's not like, you know, she was left kicking in the dust while he took control of everything. You know, she actually stood up for herself.
Yeah.
Yep.
The poses for these two here.
I want that hat.
That hat, yeah, his little bird hat. Oh Lord. Yeah, I was happy that people enjoyed it. There's definitely things that I am still working on regarding her character, but I think for the most part, you know, people are pretty understanding of it, and hopefully it will continue to go after me. Oh, this. Oh Lord.
I always enjoy performing Alpha more seriously.
Oh yeah, I remember you were really enjoying doing this part.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because it's very different from what I'm usually asked to do, because most part it's, you know, the young ADHD hero teenage boy, but here it's very different. I get to be serious and sexy and cool.
Is sexy. What I try to imply with this a bit here, if it's not entirely clear to people, is that when Alpha is, when the forbidden power is kind of welling up in Alpha, he's kind of not quite in his right mind, because normally he is very sweet and very you know, shy and a bit of an introvert. Oh, that's a crazy drawing right there.
That is a little bit concerning in the face.
Yeah, this right here, I was a little, like, not sure how people were going to like that. But I think that, I don't know, people seem to enjoy this moment because they were surprised at how, like, tense it got. And they seemed to dig it for that reason. Raven Freak's got his eyes all...
Why was he enjoying the pain? Is he that kind of person?
I like to think that maybe Raven Freak is a little bit of that kind of person.
Right.
Got some issues here. God, wow, Alpha had like no ass to speak of whatsoever in that last shot. I need to learn how to actually draw. It's a good idea. God, what the hell was I saying? Yeah, I meant like when the forbidden power is you know, kind of welling up with him. He's you know, he's kind of not quite in his right mind, and
kiss her.
He's not quite in his right mind, and you know, he has the guts to be more forward about stuff. And also this scene here with Raven Freak talking to this mysterious hacker boss that we do not know the true identity of at this time.
Is the icon meant to be a kitty? It looks like a kitty.
I don't know. I remember Mac was convinced it was a raccoon.
Oh, I see it now.
But that's because he's a narcissistic bastard, which we'll find out more about in the episode 4 commentary. But Raven Freak, this was people liked his character, and I like him a lot too. But I feel like it made the most sense for, like, after what happened here, Raven Freak would have no reason to ever want to come back and play this game again, because he'd be taking a huge risk. You know, with hurting himself again, even though maybe he enjoyed it a little bit. And
yeah, I was gonna say, I think he would come back for that reason.
Well, maybe he will. Maybe he'll be like, hit me again. I want it. I missed it.
That's disgusting.
Oh Lord. And yeah, so doing this song, I mentioned a little bit about this in another commentary, but yeah, this was really cool doing this song with Shady here.
Yeah, this is, I believe, the first original song I've ever been involved in. I mean, I've done, like, singing before, but it's always been, like, off somebody's other, like, arrangement or, you know, track or something. This is a completely original song, the first time I've ever been involved with it. It's really cool to hear myself, like, involved in something that isn't already pre-made, if that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was an unused piece of music from a game project Kadget was working on. It just worked so well as, like, a theme song, so I wrote lyrics to it, and I was like, yo, we gotta do this, and it worked very well. So that's the end of this episode. I hope we could shed a little bit of light on how some of the sound effect stuff works, and hope you enjoyed. Shady, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And we will catch you guys later, and check out the next episode if you dare.
Have a good one. Take care.
Bye.